The committee will come to order. Welcome and thank you for all joining us here today, the full committee legislative hearing. Today we will begin discussing several pieces of important legislation, including draft legislation that I've been working on to establish a permanent, improved Department of Veterans Affairs Care in the Community program. Draft legislation that Ranking Member Walz has been working on to address VA's agreements with state veteran homes, graduate medical education residency positions, community care obligations, and telemedicine licensing issues, and a legislative proposal Secretary Shulkin has been working on, the Veteran Coordinated Access and Rewarding Experiences, or CARE Act. We will also consider legislation this morning that would affect how veterans are able to access life-saving transplant and mental health care, and how VA is able to use telemedicine to treat veterans in rural areas. Needless to say, we have a very full docket this morning. I'm grateful to Ranking Member Walz, to Secretary Shulkin, and all the sponsors of bills on today's agenda for being here this morning and for their hard work on behalf of our veterans. I look forward to hearing the testimony of my colleagues and of the Secretary on various proposals, and for brevity's sake, will limit my comments to my draft bill addressing community care. So let's get started. Earlier this month, the committee hosted a roundtable discussion with VA and numerous veteran service organizations to discuss community care reform. At that roundtable, we had a robust discussion surrounding an earlier version of my community care reform bill. I'm immensely grateful to all the VSOs, members, and other roundtable participants for their support of the earlier draft, their thoughtful suggestions for how it could be improved, and their willingness to meet with me and my staff over the last few weeks to discuss these issues and my language in depth. It's important to note that the written testimony that was submitted for today's hearing is based on an earlier draft of the bill that is before us today. On Friday, a revised version of the bill was circulated that incorporates the feedback that I've received over the last few weeks from VSOs, members, VA, and other stakeholders. Once again, I want to thank all of those who agreed to sit down with me and my staff for being so generous with their time and for their commitment to ensuring that all viewpoints and concerns are heard and considered in the committee's final work product. I made every effort, every step of the way, to be transparent and keep all stakeholders informed about our work and intentions with regard to this bill. To that end, I believe it's important to state yet again that this effort is in no way, shape, or form intended to create a pipeline to privatize the VA healthcare system. I want to be completely clear about that. Everyone who participated in the roundtable earlier this month and contributed to the development of this legislation should be completely clear on that. Everyone listening today should also be completely clear on that. Supplemental care sourced from within the community has been a part of the VA healthcare system since the 1940s, and services to expand VA's reach and strengthen and support the care that VA provides. Rhetoric aside, strengthening and support VA is what this conversation is about. It should go without saying that VA cannot be everywhere, providing everything to every veteran. Expecting VA to perform like that sets up the VA to fail. That's why my draft bill preserves VA's role as a central coordinator of care for enrolled veteran patients. In addition to consolidating VA's menu of existing community care programs into one cohesive program, my bill would create a seamless, integrated VA system of care that incorporates VA providers and VA medical facilities where and when they are available to provide care a veteran seeks, and a network of VA providers in the community who can step up when needed. Under my draft bill, the VA generally retains the right of first refusal, meaning that if VA medical facilities can reasonably provide a needed service to a veteran, that care will be provided in that facility. But when the VA can't do that, my bill would ensure that veterans aren't left out to dry. My bill would also modernize VA's medical claims processing system to ensure that community providers can be expected to be paid on time, every time, and for the care they provide to veterans on VA's behalf. My bill would further require VA to consolidate periodic capacity and market assessments to identify how gaps in care can be addressed through the, improvements to both internal and external capacity. Standardize the rates VA pays to community providers, and authorize VA to enter into provider agreements for needed care when contracts are not available or achievable. That said, my bill remains a work in progress, and we still have work to do together. For example, we still need to figure out how to pay for all these improvements, which will be no easy or pleasant feat for any of us, I can assure you. I'm committed to remaining as transparent and open as possible moving forward, and I want everyone here to know the doors of this committee are open to anyone who is honestly interested in working with us to resolve this issue once and for all before the year runs out and the choice funds once again run dry. With that, I look forward to hearing what all of our witnesses have to say this morning and thank them for being here. I'll now yield to Ranking Member Walls for any opening statement that he might have.